Good evening. You're watching Just the News. I'm Mamta Chandra. Let's get straight to our top story. A US government body that monitors and reports on religious freedom abroad has said that the hijab ban, and I quote, violates religious freedom and stigmatizes and marginalizes women and girls, end quote. Now, in a tweet, US Ambassador at Large for IRF, Rashad Hussain, has said, religious freedom includes the ability to choose one's religious attire. He says, and I quote, the Indian state of Karnataka should not determine permissibility of religious clothing. Hijab bans in schools violate religious freedom and stigmatize and marginalize women and girls, end quote. Now, the statement by the ambassador came only hours after Union Minister for External Affairs S. Jaishankar met U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken at the Fourth Ward Ministerial meeting in Melbourne. Meanwhile, India has reacted to this. It said that it is an internal matter and that motivated comments on internal issues are not welcome. Now, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said that those who know India well would have a proper appreciation of the realities. In a statement, he said, and I quote, a matter regarding dress code in some educational institutions in the state of Karnataka is under judicial examination by the Honorable High Court of Karnataka. Our constitutional framework and mechanisms, as well as our democratic ethos and polity, are the context in which issues are considered and resolved. Those who know India well would have a proper appreciation of those realities. Meanwhile, the Karnataka government has made a decision on PU and degree colleges. It's extended holidays for PU, degree, engineering, and diploma colleges till the 16th of February. Karnataka Home Minister Araga Jnanendra has said, and I quote, in sensitive areas, DCs and SPs have to visit campuses and instruct the authorities and teaching staff there to see to it that no untoward incidents take place, end quote. Also in the news, according to PTI, a few Muslim students and their relatives held a demonstration at a private college in Jaipur's Chakshu town on Friday after the girls were not allowed to attend classes wearing burqas. And this is according to a report by the PTI, which says that while the college authorities maintained that the girls have begun coming in burqa only for the last 4 or 5 days, the students and their parents have said that the girls have been attending classes in the same attire for the last 3 years and no one had earlier objected. Moving on to COVID news right now, Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia has said that the central government will roll out COVID vaccination for children in the age groups of 5 to 15 years as soon as it receives recommendation from a group of experts. And on to relaxations now in Uttar Pradesh, for instance, as COVID cases are decreasing, the state government has announced schools in the state will reopen for all classes starting Monday. Offices are permitted to function at full capacity as well. Gyms are open as well. However, swimming pools and water parks will remain closed. In other news now, the Uttar Pradesh government has drawn flag by the Supreme Court for acting on the recovery notices issued to the alleged anti-CAA protesters in December 2019. Now, the court said that it is giving one final opportunity till the 18th of February to the state to withdraw the proceedings, or it will quash it for being in violation of the law. Now, the Supreme Court bench of Justices D.Y. Chandrachud and Suryakant has said, and I quote, withdraw the proceedings or we will quash it for being in violation of the law laid down by this court, end quote. Meanwhile, the External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has said that China's decision to amass troops along the line of actual control was a violation of its written commitments. Now, Jaishankar was addressing a joint India-Australia press conference in Melbourne. During the press conference, he said, and I quote, the situation at the LAC in Ladakh has arisen due to the disregard by China in 2020 of written agreements with us not to amass forces at the border. So when a large country disregards written commitments, I think it's an issue of legitimate concern for the entire international community. On to business news right now. Veteran industrialist and head of the Bajaj Group, Rahul Bajaj, has passed away today. Mr. Bajaj, who was 83, had pneumonia and also a heart problem. He was admitted to the Ruby Hall Clinic a month ago. He will now be accorded a state funeral. Moving on to environment news right now. Representatives from more than 100 countries have committed to measures aimed at preserving the ocean from human harm, including stepping up the fight against illegal fishing, cutting plastic pollution, and better protecting international waters. Now, this was at One Ocean Summit in France on Friday. Now, the 27 EU states and 16 others agreed to pursue a global agreement by the end of the year to regulate the sustainable use of the high seas, water lying outside any one country's jurisdiction, and preserve their biodiversity. On to news from across the globe focusing on Ukraine crisis first. The US has warned Russia could invade Ukraine any day now, and American citizens should leave immediately. Now, according to The Guardian, US President Joe Biden and his Russian counterpart Putin are set to speak even as Ukraine tensions continue to build. On Friday, the White House said that an invasion could start with aerial bombing that would make departures difficult and endanger civilians. Now, Russia has maintained so far that it does not plan on invading Ukraine. Now, according to Reuters, protesters opposing COVID vaccine mandates and other pandemic restrictions continue to occupy a key Canada-US trade corridor hours after an injunction order to end the blockade came into effect. Now, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has promised President Joe Biden quick action to end the crisis. And on Friday, a Canadian judge ordered an end to the 4-day-long blockade of the Ambassador Bridge, North America's busiest land border crossing. Meanwhile, in Australia, thousands of people are protesting. They took to the streets on Saturday in its capital, demonstrating against COVID vaccination mandates. Now, AFP has reported that protesters were seen carrying banners that read, "Fight for your freedom and rights and no forced drugs." Australia Prime Minister Scott Morrison said people had a right to protest, but they should do it in a peaceful and respectful way. And one piece of good news before we wrap up things on this bulletin. Some good news coming in for Mumbaikers, because the Central Railway has now said that the commuters can watch movies, TV shows, and education programs on these local trains for free during their travel time. Now, commuters will have to download the Sugar Box app and they can get access to the content offline. For now, the service has been enabled in 10 out of 165 suburban local trains. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. Have a happy weekend. Good night.